Given the individual mandate that is contained within Obamacare, the recent contraception mandate controversy, and President Obama making recess appointments when the Senate was not in recess, do we live in a post-constitutional nation?
Wow, that's a good question. Post-constitutional, I think, might be a little bit drastic just because it is still in force. If we get the right people in office, we can still get it there. But in terms of it actually being followed, no, we never follow it. And I'll give you a good example. Obamacare. We've been going through several different court cases, right? The 26 different states filed a federal suit, and it got heard in Florida. It was heard, I think, in Michigan and a few different other places, Virginia, where different judges have ruled on it. But if you look in the Constitution, it's very clear that none of those federal district courts have the authority to rule on this case. And not one of those federal judges took the time to look in the Constitution and see that they didn't have the jurisdiction to hear that case. And here's what it'll say if you look in the Constitution in Article 3. It says, any case in which a state shall be a party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. That means that when that case was filed, it should have gone directly to the Supreme Court, and that would have solved all these problems we have with different contradictory rulings coming from all these different districts where nobody knows what's really going on.
Yeah, all right. President Obama's contraception mandate, what do you feel about the religious liberty aspects of it?
It's bad. He doesn't have any authority to do that. And if you look at, again, in the Federalist Papers, that's a good place to look for that. They weren't making this specific argument, but I think it's germane nonetheless, is they talked about the idea that they were trying to talk about whether or not people would actually have an allegiance to the federal government or the state government. Because a lot of the argument was, well, this federal government's going to eat up all the state governments and there won't be state governments left. And the founders said, well, no, because people won't necessarily have that much allegiance to the federal government because it'll never have the power to reach out and touch their lives the way a state government does. And the reason why that's important is it tells you how much power they expected the federal government to have. They never believed that the federal government had the power to reach out and touch our lives the way that this federal mandate does. And again, in the Federalist Papers, Madison explains that there are only 4 areas of our life that the federal government has jurisdiction over, which would be national defense, protecting our borders, international diplomacy, and commerce between the states, basically making sure the states don't go to war with each other. So that whole idea of the Commerce Clause is basically to keep the states happy with each other, for lack of a better way to put it. So no, there's no way that that's in the Constitution. No, they don't have authority to do that.
All right. Thank you very much. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has gone over 1,000 days since passing a budget. Do you think that the Founding Fathers would look very approvingly on that action by Senator Reid?
No, and there's one reason why, I think. At least one that comes to mind immediately. And that's the fact that they passed a law that says they're required to do it. And these senators are actually ignoring that law. They're intentionally defying that law. And our representatives and our senators are supposed to be they're supposed to live under the law the same way everybody else does. So the fact that we're not holding them accountable for defying the law the same way you and I would be, that's where the problem is. They need to be living under the laws they pass the same way you and I will. That's the only way we're going to get them to represent us.